Wow. So this is YouTube. I don't know how much different it's going to be. Been on Facebook a lot. Um, Hard for me to get messages out there to people. And, the problem is that you've been filled with a lot of lies and a lot of rhetoric. The fact of the matter is, we're all human. We're all from this country. We're all citizens. Let me give you some real facts, figures. How are these for facts and figures? Between 2017, 2018, 2.2, almost 3 million people, homes destroyed, 60,000 jobs, businesses destroyed, over 4,000 lives lost, 1,000 missing, tens of thousands critically injured. When you turn around and think about it, those are real numbers. That's a real national emergency, real security problem. See, you you don't understand things. You know, and I talk to people about the Constitution a lot on Facebook. And you're welcome to ping this to Facebook. I'm a real big fan of the Constitution. See, a lot of Constitution laws been denied you, and you don't even know it. For instance, there's 5 amendments to tell you got the right to vote. One says that you have the right to vote, even if you've been a convict. You have the right to vote, no matter what your race is, religion, sex. You have the right to vote if you're above the age of 18. These are rights, people. You're born with them. They're not a privilege. They're rights. Different thing. It's a privilege to drive. That's why you gotta go take tests. But you got the right to vote. You got the right to be heard. You got the right to live. And you think about this. Real facts are, it's not your fault. It's not your neighbor's fault. It's not that Muslim or the Christian. It's not the Democrat or the Republican next door. It's not the African American, the Asian or Native American. It's your government's fault. Congress, Senate, President, governors, it's all their fault that they're in this mess. He wants to put a wall. He says it's a national emergency. Well, I'm telling you, when you got 3 million homes gone, almost 60,000 businesses gone, 800,000 people without a job. It's got a domino effect. 800,000 people don't work. They don't buy stuff. They don't buy stuff. Then you got other businesses. They're going to start saying, "I can't have people working if I got no customers." And when they stop coming, they can stop buying, and then more and more businesses collapse because it's what they call a domino effect. People, they don't know if 2 weeks from now they're gonna have a job. Hell, there are people out there, they don't have a place to live right now. Just not. Even the numbers I got before fires and tornadoes was 2.5 million homes gone. FEMA brings some trailers. There was 18,000 homes destroyed in the California fire. They bring trailers. You think they brought 18,000 trailers? I don't think so. And then Trump stops them. That blew my mind. I thought that couldn't be right. But I looked at it when I saw it on his website. I said, "You can't do that. That's inhuman." And I found out FEMA said, "Yeah." Cut to mention that FEMA's closed down anyway. FEMA doesn't know what's going to happen. And you get the knock-on effect because there are government contractors that are saying, we got to let people go because we're not getting paid for the government contracts. Hundreds of millions of people depend on the government who don't know when or if they're going to get any help again. Hundreds of millions. You don't know about these people that are unemployed because they're homeless now. Everything they had is gone. They can't file unemployment because they don't have any employment records. They're all burned up, or they're all blown away, or they're all drowned. And the businesses that had copies, they're gone. If you read the first four articles of the Constitution and two amendments, you'll see that Trump is guilty of high treason at least 30 times. And you'd be horrified to see what you have been screwed out of. You know, there's an amendment that, that says you can vote in the primary. It doesn't matter what your political party is. You don't even have to register to vote according to the Constitution. You just got to be a member of the U.S. citizen and a member of that state. You don't have to be a Democrat or Republican. You don't have to register. And it's a really sick thing people don't understand. There's actually an article that states that. Article 6 of the Constitution says the Constitution is the law of the land. The law of the land. That means that they got to abide by that law, or it's called insurrection, rebellion. Trump, when he put those 800,000 people out of work, was guilty of high treason. That is actually covered in one of those first four articles. What he did created high treason. He's created a very serious national emergency, not because of the freaking immigrants, but because of people out of work. That is a national emergency. He created it. What he did in the ripple-on effect of 200 million people plus is a national emergency. The people have lost everything to fires, storms, flooding, and that's a national emergency. The wall's not an emergency. Wall, we can put up a fence, and we can put technology in place. Better than a wall. But he wants his name put on something. I got my wall, Trump Tower, Trump golf course, Trump apartments. Needs his name on it because he's an egotistical narcissist. And he's a criminal. And for treason, it only takes 2 witnesses. 200 million people saw him on TV, and they know he committed high treason. He stood there in front of the country and did that. Somebody was talking about Tricky Dick, Richard Nixon. I know him. I mean, he was president. I know him when he was president. I know him when he was vice president. Tricky Dick. Funny guy. Really funny guy. The only thing he did wrong was he stupidly turned around and he actually was not involved with the White House break-in. But he tried to cover it up. That was his mistake. It was all he did wrong. Paranoid. Oh yeah, and he was a racist. But he was paranoid racist. But you got to remember it was the time that he was living in. Today, all these freaking assholes in them office are racist. I showed, 2 young people. I told 2 young people about, constitutional law. What impressed me most, they looked it up. They go, and then you can see their eyeballs kind of blowing out of their head, that they didn't really know that they'd been screwed. And I told the woman, I said, did you know equal rights for women was actually in the Constitution back in the 70s? And then in the 80s, they never ratified it. And so they didn't ratify it, it got kicked out. That's right, women. You had equal rights as men. You had the same equal rights as men for a short period of time. And then because they played that game and not ratifying it, they just didn't vote. Because they didn't vote, I went. Look it up. It's in the failed amendments. Girl looked at that and her eyeballs got as big, and she was just like, I thought she was gonna freaking rip the thing right out of the damn phone. But She's angry. She should be. All you women should be angry. You know, when I turned around, I just told you those numbers. I'm going to tell you something else that happened the same day. It was in the same. It was Walmart, and I went to go to the checkout line, and here this woman was, an older woman my age. She's white, bragging about Trump. Boy, he got. I said, "What did he do?" Well, he brought back the jobs. Says, no, that was Obama. Like what? And I said, "What jobs?" I said, at the time, I didn't realize we were talking about 100 million jobs had gone missing out of the country that nobody knows about. I said, when GM leaves, that's 14,000 jobs. When Sears folded, it was 130,000 jobs. When we had that fire in California, 38,000 businesses, a couple 100,000 there. The hurricane blew through, not once but twice in Florida, 40,000 jobs, 50,000 jobs. Texas, same. All up the Gulf Coast. Now in freaking North and South Carolina, millions of homes gone. Well, yeah, I can see if you're. I see where you would have a problem with that. Yeah. No shit, I have a problem with that. I'm running for president. I have to worry about that. And when I started seeing this, yesterday I was so depressed. When I saw it, I was horrified at the numbers I was reading. I couldn't believe it. 4,000 dead, 1,000 missing, tens of thousands critically injured. 2017, 2018. He turned around and screamed about 4 immigrants that committed murder out of 15,000 plus homicides in this country committed by U.S. citizens. Over 367 mass shootings committed by citizens. What's an immigrant? So let's see. You have 15,000, 15,000 times more likely to be killed by a U.S. citizen than an immigrant. You are absolutely likely to be killed in a mass shooting by a U.S. citizen, not an immigrant. The Constitution states that you're supposed to be protected. You have to worry about education. That's supposed to be free according to the Constitution. First thing it says, for the tranquility and welfare of the people. Somebody said, well, is this going to be a Christian country or is this going to be a Muslim country? The First Amendment says straight up, separation of church and state. The very next line says freedom of religion. It's not a Christian, it's not a Muslim. It's the United States. It's not a religious connection to separation of church and state. Maybe she should read, maybe they need to read the free Constitution. Or maybe they just need to leave. They don't like the Constitution, they leave. Because Article 6 of the Constitution says it's the law of the land. You don't like it, that's too damn bad. It is the law of the land. Freedom of race. It is the law of the land. The right to vote is the law of the land. Freedom of religion, freedom of speech, freedom of peaceful assembly, and freedom to air your grievances to your elected officials is the law of the land. You know what happened to those? Remember those 98%ers up there? They got sprayed with freaking pepper spray and stuff. That was illegal. That was insurrection, rebellion. What the police were doing, that's insurrection. Not what the people were doing, what the police did. It's insurrection. It's armed insurrection. It's illegal. And unfortunately, the police were caught in the middle on this. I don't think they really fully understood what their leaders were telling them was illegal. And those children here in Arizona marched on the governor's office, peacefully assembled to air their grievances. The Constitution doesn't say how old you have to be to do that. They said you have that right. It is a right by birth. You're born with those rights. And what those people did with those weapons, that's armed insurrection, punishable under the act of treason. In a time of war can be punishable by life imprisonment or death. Every time when these elected officials defy the Constitution, that's rebellion, that's insurrection, that's treason, punishable. The same freaking law applies to them. It specifically says that you get that, say that oath. You will abide by the Constitution, or you will be guilty of treason. When Trump said he wrote that executive order to defeat the 14th Amendment, it's because in there it talks about treason. That's why he wanted it gone, because it explains treason in the 14th Amendment. It's not just right to birth, but it gives you a downgrade of what treason is in the 14th Amendment. And he's guilty. That's why I think one of the reasons, but he'd have to get rid of the whole Constitution to keep himself from going to prison. So I wonder why it's not happening. Because then they have to turn around and admit they're guilty of it. That's why they don't want to freaking impeach him for treason. Because once they open that Pandora's box, that can of worms, their ass is in the freaking slam. Because now they have to work for you. They have to work for you and they have to obey the Constitution. Or they can... See, people, it's not that simple. Oh, by the way, you cannot get a pardon for impeachment. You can't be pardoned. And by the way, yes, you can be a president and be charged with a crime. That's right, you can. The Constitution specifically states that. All he has to do, as soon as he walks out the door of that office, gets in his limo, he can be pulled over, stopped, and arrested. But the better way is do it is they, kick him out. Once he's out, then he can be charged. And if you're impeached, you lose everything. He loses his corporation. He loses his ability to ever run for another office. He loses his right to vote as soon as he's impeached. He doesn't have any power left. Even the football's taken and handed to Pence. Look, I was just talking today's Bill Day, so I'm not going to be on long because it's a freaking nightmare day for me. So I know what it's like. There's no other candidate. None of these candidates know what it's like to be you. I do. I know what it's like to live from paycheck to paycheck. I know what it's like to have a corporation, do well, and then try to be stomped on by a bigger corporation trying to steal my corporation from me. So instead, I defunct it. I shut it down rather than surrender my corporation to anybody, because I was doing good for my people, my employees. To bring in, I had to turn around and put it on an open market because it's making too much. I said I had to put 41 shares out there. That would mean that I would have to turn around and pay my investors, so I would take the money from my people's mouths. I wouldn't do that. So I gave the companies that were in the corporations and my employees, gave them a good step. I shut down. I always like to be a small business owner. I don't need appliance repair. I know it's like to hurt every morning you wake up because you're disabled. Oh, by the way, I don't think that kicks me out because I'm in good company with 11 other presidents. We're disabled. Good presidents. Starting with Washington, Lincoln, Kennedy, Reagan, a whole line of them. So you see, people, there's nobody in this, nobody who's running for office that doesn't know you like I do. See, and they're a little sneaky because some of the things that I put in my platform, which you can find on my Facebook, I do bring it up every now and then. But you can do this and understand, I'm out for your rights. I'm out for you. You know, I wish people would come on because I could ask you. You could ask me questions. I think you can on this one. You can on Facebook. On my Facebook account, you can tag this to go to my Facebook account. I think you can ask me questions, anything you want. I'll answer. You can make suggestions and comments. I'll listen. I'll answer. We'll discuss it. I always do that. I like doing that. I love it when people do that. So, you know, I was the only presidential candidate that we had a party, and all of a sudden the whole thing's, you know, they flooded with Republicans and Democrats jumping ship and becoming none because now it looks like you know, I could something better. I came up with the slogan. You know, another guy came up with a slogan: United People's Alliance, UPA, Upward America, Rebuild America. Stop bickering. Stop the differences. Stop. Put your differences aside. Your fears and your hate and your aside. Put your politics aside, because you're talking millions of people right now need your help. Citizens, because they're Democrats, they're Republicans, okay, they're conservatives, they're liberals, they're all different colors: black, brown, white, yellow, brown, red. It's all the same. They're all religion, different religions. You see these storms, these fires, these floods, they don't care. They're indiscriminate. And you should be too. Well helped. Because it could be you next, and it probably will be. Because I know, I can tell you right now, many of those people right now said, nah, it didn't happen to me. Yeah, I did. I know what it's like to run for fire. I've done it twice. Or sooner or later, I know damn well one of them's going to catch me, and I'm not going to, it's going to wipe out everything I got. Be on a campaign trail, run into a freaking storm, fire, flood. You know, it's a risk. Maybe some moron out there will try to take my life. It's a risk I'll take. You know, I don't know if this is going to go anywhere. I tried to get this done before. But we need to align together. If this country is going to survive, we need to align. That wall is not a national emergency. His security advisor said that. We got a madman in freaking North Korea building nuclear weapons to hit us. ISIS still breathing. Got Russia been attacking not only our democratic system, but our infrastructure. His buddy. I believe in him over our own people. That's high treason. Giving aid and comfort to the enemy. Then and now we find out he's building Trump Tower in Moscow. That's bribery. And the same thing with North Korea. Well, it's going to be nice to put a hotel on the beautiful beaches. That's high treason and bribery. And he does it over and over again. And nobody does it. Or somebody asks me, well, why didn't you go to FBI? Why? His freaking Pizzo's in the freaking charge of it. When he should know, he should be doing something about that. Who gives a shit what he did before he came in? It's what he's done since. That's treason. 30 counts I've got. 30 counts. When I'm elected, the first thing I do is say, you're fired. The second thing I'm going to do is say, you FBI guys, grab his ass, lock him up somewhere deep and dark. He's destroyed this country. He's not made it great again. He's destroyed it. Literally ripped this country to pieces. Make America great again. Lock him up. Lock him up. Lock him up. Traitor. 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 Anyway, like I said, today is Bill Day, and I'm going to get off this thing because I don't have time for everything. So, I'm going to try to get on here more often. I don't know how to get this thing put out there. But let's just do it. Let's just do share. Okay. Yeah. Twitter. Oh, Twitter. See. Share. Let's see. Okay. People, you have to, excuse me.